at some level has struggled and is struggling with the changes that we have seen from COVID. And even though it's a really positive time in terms of vaccines coming, we've been hit hard, right? Whether that's physical health, whether that's economic health, whether that's all of the relationships and the regular patterns of life, the schools that we've really taken for granted. And it's going to take time to recover from that and making sure that people can be as individually healthy, including from a mental health standpoint, as they can be. And that means first and foremost, talking honestly about when people are having challenges and then reaching out in a way that there is no shame, there is no stigma to this. And it is a sign of strength to say, you know what, let's talk about this together. Let's talk honestly below the surface about how this is for me, how this is for you. And then the city and many partners have been working to set up more resources for people, whether they need help, with mental health issues or financial health issues, connectedness issues. And this is going to be long. Recovery from COVID, when we do our emergency preparedness planning, there's pre-work, there's during and then there is a major recovery section. And we plan for that too, quite mindfully. And the recovery from something like COVID is going to be long. And I don't want people to feel like they're on some timeline of feeling like I should already be sort of back to normal, because that is likely to take a lot of time and people are going to be on different timelines.
Something that's come up as vaccine distribution really ramps up and we begin to make that transition back to normal is the idea of a vaccine passport or a green card, and really some limitations of access. There's been a lot of discussion surrounding privacy and being able to protect the security of medical information. What are your thoughts on these concerns?
Yeah, this is one of the issues that I think is going to be one of the most interesting conversations over the next year, really. We are not at a point with the amount of vaccine that we have while the vaccines are still under emergency use authorization. We're not at a point where people are mandating vaccine by and large. And I want to be very clear that the government, the city of Chicago, is never going to mandate that everybody get vaccinated. That is never going to happen. But I do expect that we will see spaces where vaccination becomes important or perhaps required. And we're already seeing some signals of that. We've seen some international airlines that have said a little bit down the line here, if you want to be flying to Australia on an international airline, you need to prove, you need to have proof of vaccination. We've seen examples of indoor large sporting events or concerts starting to say you need to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID test within a certain amount of time if you want to come in here. And we certainly have precedent for employers requiring flu shots, for example. Hospitals require, if you want to work here, you need to get a flu shot. And I fully expect that we will see more and more and more sort of pressure and perhaps requirements for vaccination in certain settings. And I don't know how this is going to go. I've been watching it with interest in Europe, where they have rolled more of this out. And I think some of it has gone well and some of it has not gone well. The US is not Europe. We have a lot of major, I share people's privacy concerns, but I think we are a country that has a lot of concerns about privacy, appropriately so. And how we balance those concerns about privacy with public good are going to be, I think, one of the most interesting conversations. I'm already seeing dentist offices that are advertising, come get your teeth cleaned here. We are fully vaccinated, right? Like there's this sort of positive vaccine. And how much will we get with sort of this positive vaccination versus a requirement? So that is I think it's going to be one of the things that we watch. I'm pretty sure that we are going to see technology emerge. I know some of it already has around the ability to show your vaccination records. I think the question will be, what are the settings in which we see those used? And I'm totally up for this national conversation and interested to see how it's going to play out.
Switching over to the global implications of vaccine distribution, can you share your opinion about the delicate balance between the responsibility of the United States to take care of its own, but also be a good citizen of the world and support the global response to COVID and vaccine distribution on an international scale?
Yeah, so I really see the vaccine as a major opportunity for diplomacy and for actually protecting the U.S. It doesn't surprise me at all. And of course, we are prioritizing getting Americans vaccinated. But we have enough vaccine already, it sounds like, in the pipeline in terms of the commitments that have been made and the prioritization that's been done at the federal government to ensure that all Americans can get vaccinated. And I've been watching with great interest and happiness to see already some offers of vaccine to other settings because infectious diseases do not know borders, and infectious diseases, especially if we're seeing variants emerge, remain a huge threat to the U.S. if we don't work hard to get folks vaccinated. I did, as you know, I've done actually quite a lot of international work and international outbreak response work. And let me tell you, there are people who are motivated because it's the right thing to do to support on an outbreak that feels a long way from wherever I'm living. And then there are people who are motivated from a national security standpoint. And frankly, they're both true and they're both right. And I, as coming from a public health standpoint, of course, I want to make sure the U.S. has good access, but I would really like to see us use the resources that we have here in a way that gets vaccine where it is most needed, right? That's how we set up our entire vaccination program here in the city of Chicago. And if we're going to really get past COVID, it means doing that at a global level as well. And so I'm very, very interested and hugely supportive of us making the investments that are needed to make sure that vaccine can get to less resourced parts of the world. It's the right thing to do, and it's what protects us indirectly.
So for our last question, I thought I would ask something maybe more personal. What are you most looking forward to when life is back to normal? And when is this pandemic going to feel like it's truly over and a thing of the past?
So, I was talking about this recovery and how we consider recovery to also be a long process. I mean, at the Chicago Department of Public Health, we expect fully to be predominantly working on COVID for at least another year, just realistically. Not in a way, not like I think we're going to be where we are now, but in terms of the work that is going to very much be needed and building the groundwork for what comes next. We're looking at, all of 2021 is going to be primarily focused on COVID, but the work of trying to take what we're doing in COVID and then transition it to the other public health goals that we have. That's work I love and I'm really interested in. And I've got a lot of people at the health department thinking very creatively, I think in really sort of nationally recognized ways about how to do that. So, I am certainly looking forward to being able to take a real vacation. I'm someone who loves to travel, and like the rest of the world, I have not been able to do that. And I am really, really looking forward to the opportunity to do that, to unplug a little bit, which of course I've not been able to do for a year. And really that's about it. Like if I could just do that a little bit, I would be very happy. But I think, it's been a hard year, but it's been, I couldn't be more proud of the Chicago Department of Public Health and my team and the work that we and so many others across the city have done, right? The healthcare partners, the community partners, the elected officials, the leadership that I think, the mayor has shown here in terms of making hard decisions when they had to be made. We are not done with COVID yet. Don't get me wrong. But I am really thankful to be doing the work that I am doing here in Chicago. And although it's been one of the hardest years of my life, it's not, there's really nothing I would have rather been doing. And even as we look ahead, to this next year, yes, I want a vacation. Yes, I want a little chance to unplug, but I want to keep doing the work that I've been able to do with the great team that I have here in Chicago.
And that's a wrap on another episode of UC3P. Credits go to Emma Kugelmass for producing, interviewing, and editing the episode. Thank you again to Dr. Arwady for taking the time to speak with Emma. Our assistant production managers are Jack Emery and Yoana Lapuri. Our finance director is Aishwarya Kumar. Our communications director is Olu Ogidan, and our publisher is Yining Wang. Our intro music is Knockout 2 by Dachubi, and our outro music is Yes Yes Y'all by Matt Large. Our cover art was designed by Shirin Raban. Please visit us on our website, uc3p.org. If you like what you heard, please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. My name is Siddhant Wadera, and this was the University of Chicago Public Policy Podcast's main page.